They laughed at him. They called him done. But now, he just made a move so massive, it shattered headlines, rattled Wall Street, and sent Silicon Valley scrambling. Trump didn't just talk power. He bought it, branded it, and turned it into a billion-dollar beast. And whether you love him or hate him, you just got played by a master. Look, this isn't about politics. This is about power positioning. A man out of office just engineered a billion-dollar financial and media machine with Truth Social at the center. And here's the kicker. It's not funded by legacy donors or political backers. It's funded by attention, loyalty, controversy, and leverage. He used the very hate aimed at him as fuel. That's not chaos. That's chess. And while you're watching the circus, he's owning the tent. That's what most people miss. This is a masterclass in monetizing brand energy, in turning polarization into power, in playing the game above the game. If you're not paying attention to how this one move just redefined American influence, you're already 10 steps behind. Don't just scroll. Lean in. This isn't a news story. It's a blueprint. Donald Trump's billion-dollar power move centers around his bold consolidation of influence through the media and financial sectors, specifically via the merger between Trump Media and Technology Group, TMTG, and Digital World Acquisition Corp., DWAC. This isn't just a casual investment or a business expansion. It's a strategic pivot into a new kind of empire. Truth Social, Trump's flagship platform, is the nucleus of this move. While critics initially dismissed it as a niche platform with limited traction, Trump leveraged the narrative around censorship, media bias, and deplatforming to craft a product that resonated with millions who felt alienated by traditional social platforms. But the brilliance isn't in the platform itself. It lies in the infrastructure being built around it. Through the merger, TMTG became a publicly traded entity, suddenly giving Trump and his organization access to enormous capital, valuation, and visibility, without needing tech venture capital or corporate backing. This wasn't just about launching a product, it was about monetizing ideology, identity, and controversy. What's striking is how he turned a polarizing reputation into shareholder value. Investors weren't just buying into a tech company, they were buying into a belief system, a movement, a man. That's why this billion-dollar valuation isn't based on user data or ad revenue in the traditional sense. It's based on momentum and political identity. Trump's brand equity alone created a valuation leap that few tech entrepreneurs could mimic. This strategy weaponized narrative and converted media attention, positive or negative, into market capital. The more the mainstream media attacked the platform, the more its base rallied behind it, creating a counter-ecosystem of loyal users, investors, and supporters who feel like stakeholders in something bigger than an app. Trump didn't stop at just launching Truth Social. He redefined what it means to scale a movement in financial terms. By merging with DWAC, a special-purpose acquisition company, SPAC, he bypassed traditional IPO barriers and sidestepped the typical scrutiny of legacy tech. It was fast, aggressive, and unapologetically political. But it was also legal, brilliant, and strategically timed. His critics may see it as a vanity project, but tactically, it was a well-calculated disruption. He used the very system that tried to silence him to build a stronger platform for his voice, expanding from politics into finance, tech, and digital media dominance. This wasn't a comeback, it was an evolution. Trump's move positions him as more than a political figure. It reestablishes him as a billionaire media mogul with control over both message and market. He's not playing to be president again. He's playing to own the ecosystem that shapes presidents, policies, and public sentiment. The billion-dollar valuation isn't a reflection of traditional metrics. It's a statement of symbolic and strategic dominance. Whether it's sustainable or not is beside the point. In the short term, he proved something few others in his position could. That political capital, when fused with media ownership and financial agility, can create a business model that transcends elections and influences entire national conversations. Donald Trump's billion-dollar move with Truth Social isn't simply a political stunt or a short-term maneuver to stay relevant. It's a calculated transition that moves beyond politics and dives deep into legacy building through media, technology, and influence infrastructure. Most people view Trump through the lens of campaigns, rallies, or election cycles, but his recent moves signal something far more enduring. By creating a media platform with his name and ideology at its core, he's establishing a lasting presence that doesn't rely on being in office to have power. This isn't about winning votes, it's about owning the narrative, the pipeline of information, and the emotional loyalty of millions. Truth Social isn't a competitor to Twitter or Facebook in a traditional sense. It's a fortress, a digital home for his base and a launchpad for future influence. Through this, Trump becomes less of a political figure and more of a media baron, setting the rules, distributing the content, and shaping the lens through which millions see the world. He's effectively unshackled his influence from the limitations of political office. Presidents come and go, but platforms stay. And Trump understands that if you control a platform, you control the flow of information. That means influence over public opinion, cultural shifts, and even financial markets. Truth Social acts like a command center, and its integration with public markets through the DWAC merger gives it staying power. It's not just a messaging app, it's a stake in the culture war economy. Every post, every headline, every controversy feeds into the platform's growth. Even the opposition fuels it, because every attack adds to its relevance, every ban on mainstream platforms adds to its reason for existing. The brilliance of this move is that it doesn't need majority appeal to succeed. Trump understands niche dominance. With a fiercely loyal core audience, he doesn't have to please everyone. He only needs to speak directly to the people who move the needle. That loyal base fuels traffic, engagement, and in turn, valuation. This gives him power that politicians dream of, not just momentary attention, but sustained influence. Through Truth Social, Trump can support candidates, promote causes, sell products, and mobilize action without waiting for a network to invite him on air or a campaign event to take place. It's direct, unfiltered, and permanent. What makes this move stand out is how it stretches across time. A political win is 4 years, maybe 8. But a media empire lasts generations. With Truth Social and its billion-dollar valuation, Trump is setting up a mechanism that can live beyond him, an ideological brand encoded into a digital platform. This is the infrastructure of influence, not just a campaign tool. It creates opportunities for expansion into publishing, streaming, e-commerce, and political fundraising, all centralized around his brand and his worldview. And because it's backed by financial power and not just popularity, it has teeth. It can shape elections, sway markets, and redefine what it means to be a power broker in modern America. Trump's billion-dollar power move carries implications that ripple far beyond political influence. It directly challenges the entrenched dominance of big tech and shifts the landscape of Wall Street. For decades, tech giants like Meta, Google, and Twitter controlled the terms of digital communication, curating what narratives were amplified and which voices were silenced. When Trump was deplatformed, it served as a warning to anyone who dared challenge these centralized powers. But instead of fading into irrelevance, he used that moment as a catalyst to launch his own alternative, Truth Social, and, more importantly, to enter the financial arena through a merger that made his media company public. This wasn't just a reaction to censorship, it was a counterstrike designed to fracture big tech's monopoly and redefine what market disruption looks like. By merging Trump Media and Technology Group with Digital World Acquisition Corp., he tapped into the same system that built the tech giants, public market capital, but used it to fund a direct competitor rooted in ideological defiance. The DWAC deal allowed him to bypass traditional venture capital routes, which are often aligned with Silicon Valley values, and instead raise billions by appealing directly to retail investors and politically motivated stakeholders. This move rattled Wall Street because it wasn't built on revenue or product innovation in the usual sense. It was built on tribal loyalty, cultural division, and brand magnetism. It introduced a new variable into market valuation: ideological alignment. Investors weren't just betting on a company, they were betting on a worldview. That's what made it dangerous to the status quo. Big tech has always operated with a near-universal belief in its invincibility. Platform dominance, network effects, and mountains of user data have kept them untouchable. But Trump's media maneuver showed that narrative capital can be just as potent as technological innovation. He didn't need the best engineers or the most cutting-edge features. What he had was attention, and he turned that into equity. Truth Social, while modest in scale compared to giants, represented a proof of concept. You can build a parallel ecosystem if you have a powerful enough brand and a willing audience. It didn't need to beat Twitter in numbers. It just needed to be the home base for those who felt cast out of traditional platforms. What really stunned Wall Street was how rapidly Trump leveraged this attention into financial legitimacy. The SPAC deal catapulted the company's valuation into the billions, despite having limited operational performance. It signaled a shift where perceived influence and symbolic power could override conventional market metrics. That disrupted not just tech culture but investor psychology. Suddenly, success wasn't just about user growth or revenue streams. It was about momentum, controversy, and emotional resonance. And in that world, Trump thrives. His move revealed how fragile the old assumptions were. If one man could turn being banned into a billion-dollar empire, the gatekeepers weren't as secure as they believed. The merger blurred the lines between media, politics, and finance, forcing Wall Street to reckon with the power of narrative-driven investment and the weaponization of attention in the digital age. The reaction to Trump's billion-dollar media move has split America in a way few business decisions ever have. On one side, millions of supporters see it as a bold stand for free speech, a David versus Goliath moment where one man takes on big tech and the corporate media machine. To them, Trump isn't just launching a media company. He's reclaiming a voice for people who feel silenced, ignored, or misrepresented by mainstream platforms. They view Truth Social as more than an app. It's a battleground for the soul of American discourse. The billion-dollar valuation isn't a point of skepticism. It's a badge of honor, a sign that their collective voice has weight in the financial and cultural arenas. Every time the platform is attacked or dismissed, it only fuels their commitment, reinforcing the belief that the system fears what it can't control. This loyalty has created a rare phenomenon where a business enterprise is treated with the same emotional allegiance typically reserved for political movements or religious identity. But on the other side of the divide, critics and skeptics view the move as something more sinister. To them, the creation of a Trump-centered media ecosystem represents a dangerous consolidation of power. It's not just about building a social platform. It's about building an empire where one voice dominates unchallenged, surrounded by loyal followers and insulated from outside accountability. They see the billion-dollar valuation as artificially inflated by political hype and not grounded in solid business fundamentals. Many in this camp worry about the spread of misinformation, echo chambers, and the potential for digital tribalism to escalate into real-world division. For them, Trump's move isn't a stand for freedom. It's a strategic attempt to monopolize influence and bypass democratic checks by owning the medium through which messages are delivered. What's remarkable is that both sides, despite being in fierce disagreement about motive and morality, recognize the scale of the move. No one is ignoring it. Whether people see it as visionary or manipulative, revolutionary or dangerous, they agree that it's significant. That kind of shared attention, even amid conflict, is rare. It shows that Trump has once again seized control of the national spotlight, not by holding office, but by owning a narrative channel that rivals those who tried to silence him. This polarization doesn't weaken the platform. In fact, it strengthens it. Because in a divided media landscape, platforms thrive not by appealing to everyone but by deeply engaging a specific audience. And Trump knows his audience better than most brands or politicians know theirs. That understanding is why Truth Social, despite its flaws, continues to hold financial and cultural relevance. The platform thrives on the tension between admiration and outrage, and the billion-dollar move was engineered to ride that wave. The result is a rare moment in American business history where one corporate action simultaneously symbolizes rebellion and domination, resistance and control, disruption and centralization, all depending on which side of the national divide you stand on. Donald Trump's billion-dollar move isn't just a flex of wealth or influence. It's a masterclass in leveraging branding, media strategy, and financial engineering to create power far beyond traditional political or business means. At the core of this strategy is Trump's ability to transform raw attention into tangible capital. Where most people see controversy, Trump sees currency. Every headline, every criticism, every viral moment is fuel for a larger machine that converts noise into value. With Truth Social and the public listing of Trump Media and Technology Group, he effectively turned public perception into shareholder equity. Unlike conventional businesses that build slowly on product-market fit, revenue growth, or technical innovation, Trump built his media empire on emotional investment. His brand is the product, and loyalty is the monetization model. Trump understands that attention in the digital age is more valuable than almost any other asset. But he doesn't just chase attention, he engineers it. He creates flashpoints that generate outrage, support, debate, and constant visibility. Then, he channels that visibility through controlled platforms, ensuring that the financial value created doesn't flow to advertisers on Twitter or to executives at CNN, it flows to him. That's why Truth Social exists. It's not just a tool for communication. It's a self-contained engine that captures value from every mention, every article, and every user interaction. Even those who hate Trump feed into this loop. Their opposition creates the friction that fuels engagement, and in turn, inflates valuation. It's a form of reverse marketing, where critics become unwilling promoters. Beyond the brand itself, Trump also uses the timing and structure of financial vehicles to his advantage. The merger with DWAC was no coincidence. SPACs offer a unique pathway to public funding that bypasses many traditional roadblocks like revenue thresholds, regulatory scrutiny, or institutional gatekeeping. By choosing this route, Trump didn't just gain access to billions. He did so without needing approval from Silicon Valley, Wall Street elites, or legacy media institutions that often block disruptive outsiders. It was a shortcut, but a legal, clever one, that let him capitalize on a wave of market interest in ideological investing. Investors weren't buying into a business plan. They were buying into a cultural moment. This strategy of converting influence into capital isn't new for Trump. It's how he built his real estate brand, then reality TV fame, then political rise. But now, it's scaled. Now, he's using that same playbook in a digital age where attention is monetizable at speeds never before possible. He's not just selling buildings or shows or policies. He's selling belief, identity, and defiance. And with the structure he's created, that belief becomes market value. That identity becomes equity. That defiance becomes fuel for growth. Whether one loves him or hates him, Trump's power move represents a shift in how influence is built and monetized in America. It shows how narrative control, brand loyalty, and financial innovation can converge to create a power structure that doesn't just sit within a system, it builds a parallel one. Donald Trump's billion-dollar power play isn't just a media stunt or financial win. It's a long-game strategy to solidify influence that extends well beyond the 2024 election. The infrastructure he's building with Truth Social and Trump Media and Technology Group is designed to outlast political cycles and establish a digital empire that continues to shape public opinion, mobilize voters, and push his agenda with or without a seat in the White House. This is a legacy move disguised as a media project. He's not just preparing for a campaign. He's laying the foundation for a lasting ecosystem where he remains at the center of the conversation no matter who's in office. That kind of influence is far more powerful than holding a temporary position in government. It's structural, not situational. Trump understands that attention and messaging are the real levers of power. Presidents come and go, but whoever controls the platform that informs and activates millions controls the future. By positioning himself at the helm of a fully owned and operated media machine, he ensures that his voice, and the voices aligned with him, can never be silenced by outside platforms or gatekeepers. This isn't just about giving his base a place to speak freely. It's about creating a centralized channel where political messaging, fundraising, candidate promotion, merchandise, and cultural commentary all converge. That's how movements are maintained between elections and why his reach stays relevant, even when he's not in office. The move also introduces a powerful mechanism for political scalability. Through Truth Social, Trump doesn't just speak to his followers. He can amplify aligned candidates, organize local political action, shape public discourse in real time, and shift national focus with a single post. It gives him kingmaker capabilities. And with the backing of public markets, that influence becomes even more scalable. He's no longer reliant on campaign donations or RNC structures. He has a revenue-generating engine that's tied to his visibility, not just his ballot access. Every tweet-like message, every media controversy, every TV mention drives traffic, fuels engagement, and increases market value. It's a closed loop where influence creates capital, and capital reinforces influence. What makes this so disruptive is that it creates a blueprint others will try to follow. Trump's move is pioneering a new model of political and economic power, a hybrid between media mogul, tech founder, and political force. And it's built to last. Even if he never wins another election, the infrastructure will remain. He will continue to set the tone, influence voters, and direct national conversations because he owns the channels where those conversations happen. This media empire becomes a generational asset, one that could be handed off, expanded, or used to support the rise of like-minded successors. It ensures that his ideology, brand, and voice stay embedded in the American landscape. While political opponents campaign every 4 years, Trump has created a permanent campaign that monetizes belief, organizes loyalty, and maintains cultural relevance through technology and business, not just votes. That's how legacy is built in the modern era, by owning the narrative and the network it travels through. So here's what you need to understand. This wasn't just a business move, and it definitely wasn't just about politics. Trump's billion-dollar play was a statement, a shift, and a signal. It said, "I don't need the establishment, I'll build my own." While others fight for influence within the system, he created a system of his own, a platform to speak, a public company to fund it, and a loyal audience to power it. It's not just about Truth Social. It's about turning controversy into currency, loyalty into leverage, and narrative into lasting control. Whether you agree with his vision or not, the blueprint he just rolled out is undeniable. It's bold, it's disruptive, and it's changing the way power works in America. Because in this new era, attention is wealth, influence is infrastructure, and those who control the platform control the future. Trump's not just playing the game, he's building the board it's played on.